The shocking reality of climate aid. A wake-up call for global action. In a world grappling with the climate crisis, a recent report has unveiled a startling truth. Only a minuscule fraction of international climate aid is dedicated to supporting a just transition for workers and communities away from polluting industries. This revelation raises critical questions about our approach to tackling climate change and its impact on inequality. The report, released by the climate and development nonprofit ActionAid, serves as a timely reminder that our efforts to address the climate crisis must go beyond mere emissions reduction. It highlights a hidden reason why climate action has not reached the scale it desperately needs: the neglect of those most affected by the transition. But here's where it gets controversial. Less than 3% of international aid for carbon mitigation is allocated towards a just transition. Teresa Anderson, the organization's Global Climate Justice Lead, puts it bluntly: people are being forced to choose between a safe job and a safe planet. The report analyzed over 600 projects funded by major multilateral climate funds, including the UN-backed Green Climate Fund and the Climate Investment Funds. Using a rigorous set of indicators, the authors assess these projects' impact on workers, women, and communities, as well as their contribution to a systemic shift away from fossil fuels. And this is the part most people miss. Only 2% of these approved projects met the criteria for a just transition. A jaw-dropping statistic indeed. Bert de Wel, Global Climate Policy Coordinator at the International Trade Union Confederation, comments, "This data confirms what workers and their unions are witnessing. Climate finance is driven by investor needs, not those affected by the emergency." When we delve deeper into the financial aspect, the disparity becomes even more evident. ActionAid's analysis reveals that just $1 out of every $35 spent on these projects goes towards just transition initiatives. That's a mere $630 million over a decade, which pales in comparison to the cost of a superyacht owned by tech billionaire Jeff Bezos. The lack of consideration for workers and communities is not just an ethical concern. It's a practical one too, says Anderson. She cites an example from Bangladesh, where a program encouraging farmers to switch from rice to mango crops failed to consult seasonal and female workers, leading to an economically unviable project. The project didn't map all the people involved in those farming activities, she explains. Had they consulted workers, the developers might have realized the economic implications of a single annual harvest compared to rice's 3. As we approach the upcoming UN climate talks in Belém, Brazil, known as COP30, there's an opportunity to address these trends. Brazilian officials have identified just transition approaches as a priority, and activists are demanding negotiators flesh out the details of the Just Transition Work Program. Annabella Rosenberg, senior advisor on Just Transition at Climate Action Network, calls the new data shocking. She believes that shifting justice to the heart of the climate agenda is crucial, and civil society groups are pushing for countries to agree on a Belém action mechanism to boost finance for just transition projects. ActionAid is calling for wealthy nations to commit trillions of dollars annually in grant-based climate finance for Global South countries. They also demand a revamp of the Green Climate Fund's principles to prioritize labor and justice. On the other hand, the report suggests sunsetting the climate investment funds, as they are largely controlled by the Global North and have overstayed their welcome, according to Anderson. The current perception among international climate negotiators is that just transition considerations are optional. We'll hear arguments like we don't have time or money, so let's focus on carbon, says Anderson. But shortcuts that ignore justice only prolong the journey by preventing people from joining the fight. So what's your take on this? Do you think the focus on carbon emissions is overshadowing the need for a just transition? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's spark a conversation about this critical aspect of our climate action strategy.